Welcome to the Greene effect.
What's good, Vlad?
How you doing? Good to see you, man. How you been?
I can't complain. You look the same, man. You don't look like you age at all, dude. I'm like
You
starting
too,
to get a
man.
little jealous over here, man.
You too, man. You too.
Uh-oh. I'm
Well,
gonna have
listen.
to I'm gonna have to invest in getting a budget together so I can get, put some beautiful treatments going on over here to improve my space. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got some great topics today, man. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on some of these things.
Uh-oh. Lay them on me. Lay them on me.
So the Joey Swoll situation. Are you familiar with Joey Swoll? You familiar with his craft, what he does?
So Joey Swoll is a friend of mine. We go back. In fact, when social media, I think when I was really just starting to discover just a little bit of what uh, uh, a powerful tool social media can be. I think I got a chance to kind of follow Joey Swoll a little bit. We were like our paths were crossing a lot.
Nice.
Maybe like a little more than 10 years ago. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
During the social media discovery period for me. And yeah, Joey Swoll is like he's been a personality that I've had to pay attention to and had the benefit of, getting to learn a few things or two behind the scenes from him.
Yeah,
He's a good dude.
he's great at going viral. Like he's a very smart guy. He knows, and what he's been doing in recent years is he's been kind of like the anti-bully, right? Where he calls people out for posting videos, making fun of other people, and he gets a lot of flack for that as well. So he's kind of controversial in that because he calls out some women and women calling him sexist. So he's been, but he goes viral. Like people know about him like outside of the fitness industry, right? So with that regard, he's a genius. But what happened with the Hulk Hogan thing was interesting because Hulk Hogan passed away, right? A couple of weeks ago.
Rest in peace.
Right. So Joey Swoll made a post dressed up as Hulk Hogan, like a tribute basically. He's working out in the gym wearing the costume, whatever. And then he went on live, and I guess a lot of people were very upset at that he was, I guess, praising Hulk Hogan.
Mhm.
I didn't understand why at first, and then people were saying that Hulk Hogan was actually said some racist things.
Yeah.
Did you know about? I didn't even know about it. Like Hulk Hogan said some racist things, and it
Yeah,
is
over
true
the
that
years, there's been quite a bit. I remember there was something with the at one time he had a beer company that was supposed to do some promotions, and yeah, there was some things that was had come to the fore about Hulk Hogan and some of the things that he may have said behind the scenes that had a negative reflection on, I believe, one of the models that happened to be of African American descent, and it was kind of looked at as being distasteful. Um, yeah, and if there are people that don't know exactly what that was,
what I'm talking about is it was a leaked conversation. Somebody recorded a conversation of him talking to his daughter, and he was saying some.
that's another thing. Yep. Yeah, there's suffice it to say, there's been a few things that have been
Right.
in the spotlight related to some not so nice things that were allegedly said or experienced um, and accounted to on behalf of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of forgave him for that. I wasn't even aware of what I kind of was doing research to learn about that, right? Because after he passed away, people from different industries were kind of saying rest in peace, whatever. So Joey made that
Myself
post.
included. I made posts.
There you go.
I
So
made posts,
anyway, so Joey Swoll goes on live, right?
yeah.
And he starts getting called out by, I guess, people that don't like Hulk Hogan. And Joey's defending himself, and then he says something insensitive while he's defending himself. He's basically saying, "Well, look, people from other races praising him as well. So what do you want from me?" But he said it in an insensitive way or something like that, right? So then the next day he makes an apology video, basically apologizing for what he said and basically kind of retracting his praise for Hulk Hogan. He kind of like retracted it back, and then that's when it got really crazy, right? At that point, the audience gets divided, right? People are saying, "What is wrong with you, Joey? Why are you bowing down to the haters, so to speak?" or the people that were offended, or the insensitive people, or too sensitive people. I mean, right? Yeah. So now he's in between basically two sets of people. That people that were his fans are saying, "Yo, what are you doing? Why are you apologizing? You're crazy." So now he gets into this crazy, weird situation, right? And then he makes a post saying, "Hey, I'm done with social media. All I was trying to do is please everybody, and you guys give me hate." And he made it seem like he's abandoning social media. And then he comes back a day later like everything is fine. So, like, did he plan all this? Like, is this all just a part of this whole thing of, like I was saying in the beginning, he likes going, he knows how to go viral. Was that whole thing kind of like, you think, just made up from the beginning? Like, he wanted to create this crazy reaction from everybody?
I don't think it was made up. I think he very cleverly understands, you know, what the trends are. He can read the trends, and I think that we follow suit just as we do. I think a lot of times people are very responsive, and I think, yeah, you can depend on that reflex a lot of times, even when it looks like we may not. I think with a little bit of experience, at some point we can anticipate and expect, a certain amount of backlash for things. So even if it did catch us off guard in the beginning, I think that our friend Joey Swoll is intelligent enough and calculating enough to be able to position himself right where he needs to be in order to benefit. I don't think, he's not an unintelligent guy, and he's also not the softest, easily misled, sheep. He's not a sheep,
No, not at all.
So I would err on the side of imagining that, yeah, a calculated response to, capitalize on, a situation that is not out of his control. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of times things will get blown up.
Well, do you think he should have? Do you think he should have apologized? Do you think he should have retracted his, I guess, his post?
Personally, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it was a very big deal at all. I don't think it was a big deal. And I think more importantly, 2 weeks from now, it will blow over, and it will not be seen as a big deal, and we'll move on to the next thing, So yeah, I think Joey Swoll is a great person, I think he's a calculated and very intelligent athlete and spokesperson in our sport. I think that what he's doing behind the scenes right now is what he's supposed to do. I would expect him to be. I would be. I just don't believe that he's heartbroken and going to move away from social media forever. And it's just, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Nah, he's the Joey Swoll that I believe I know, is, going to capitalize in a great way. And if you're the fan or enthusiast that wants to hate enough to think that this is going to be the end of, Joey Swoll, then you've got another thing coming.
And you don't have a problem with him doing the tribute, right? You think the tribute was totally fine?
I did a tribute to Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He did the person, literally, has been one of the iconic figures of he transcended wrestling. If I were working with the kinds of responsibilities and influences that Joey Swoll were working with at the time, might have done the same thing. I don't think he did anything that was, that he should be vilified for. And even with the things that they may be able to say about, Hulk Hogan, the dude was not, we can say racist and this and that, these things, so easily, but the relationships, the things that we get a chance to see a person do, just in their life, can far exceed, what a person's take on that person's personality is based on a soundbite of, a few seconds of information. It's not.
Let's talk about the Jay Cutler thing. He said something very interesting. So he was doing an interview, I think, and they asked him, the question was, can bodybuilders retire healthy? and he said, I'm quoting what he said. He said, "No, not in open, not in men's open, not in today's era. Is anyone walking out on?" And then he added also, "Is anyone walking out on the field when you compete in sports? If you're a swimmer, if you're playing basketball every other day, is anyone healthy at that point?" So basically saying it's impossible to retire if you are a professional, essentially. But he did point out men's open, and he said in today's era. What do you think about that? Do you agree, disagree with him?
I think the idea of what is healthy can vary
Sure.
from individual to individual, whom it is that you are asking that. I think that if you ask general person, public, general person in the public, what is healthy will probably vary as much as, if you were to ask them, well, what is natural,
And also wondering what era specifically, right? Because he said today's era. I wonder when we're talking about today's era in bodybuilding, when from what point on are we starting, right? Because he retired like from competition in 2014, I believe that was the last, or 13 I think, right? That was the last competition at Olympia. So does it mean from that point on to now, or does it mean in the last 5 years? You know what I mean? Just curious to know what's the era we're talking about.
Well, I think one of the things that's happened in the sport is it possible with saying that a person can get their pro card and not have to, make, light year jumps and commitments to the craft of um, some of what it can take, some of the extremes that it can take, the shape of when setting the tone of what it's going to look like for you to operate as a pro. I think a person can turn pro at this stage in our sport without, needing to be fully committed to the realization of some crazy
I see what
extremes.
you're saying. So you're actually saying that if it's easier to make it, right, then it's probably easier to remain healthy.
Right. So yeah. So chances are, what happens is you're in a driving seat where you can turn pro without necessarily having to commit to the fullest extreme of what this thing can look like for you. Which for you, um, you can identify, hey, this is a healthier way that I'm going to approach this
Mm,
thing. And in my commitment to what looks like health for me, um, there's some things that I'm going to do, and there's some things that I'm just not going to do. You
right, right,
know,
right.
and within that, you can kind of successfully navigate your pathway to being professional without necessarily having to say, well, I had to commit to the dark side of the force and become this monster that I now hate later. It's not, you don't have to do that. There are choices that we can make in our pursuit of being the best that we believe we can be, and a lot of times when we think that the only way we can do this is now by going to the dark side to complete our training, if that's what we, so choose to say, then I think that what can come with that is the reality that is just that, the extreme dark side that we can all find very difficult to talk about. But it doesn't have to be. There's some choices we can make. We do have say in that. I don't think the sport dictates that for you. I think you as the athlete can say, you know what? And I remember earlier in my career, I remember being able to say, hey, look, I wanted to turn pro and I believe that I was destined to turn pro and I could work. And I believe that, yo, man, I could actually do this. I can compete as a pro and I could, just because I saw myself as not I believe that I was totally focused and committed to doing the best and being the best that I could be. Um, and I got a chance to see at a time in my career, earlier in my career, where for me, doing that didn't mean that I needed to, you know, be, working on the dark side of the force to such an extent that I felt like my health was compromised, to
Wow,
such an extent that I felt that my integrity, um, to the extent that I knew it and understood it to be at that time, had to be compromised either.
that's
I think
interesting.
that you can do that and you can be healthy, and you can set those boundaries for yourself and you can identify what the integrity is going to look like for you. And you can hold true to that and stay true to that.
Speaking of compromise, Chris Bumstead said something very interesting last week. So he said that the biggest sacrifice that he had to do while competing was his mental peace. The exact quote was, "There's a lot that comes with success. It doesn't come for free. I've reflected over the years on how much my mental peace I had to sacrifice over the years to accomplish what I've accomplished." Mental health, mental peace, right? I mean, can you relate to that at all as a professional bodybuilder?
Yes, I can. I think that one, we're driving this train. We're driving this car, and if you're an intense guy and I once heard Lee Haney talk about in an interview where he described Rich Gaspari, and these are like legends of the sport to me, and I remember Lee Haney identifying Lee Labrada. I'm sorry. Oh man, Rich Gaspari as this really intense personality that was just, all or nothing, real intense. And I remember thinking, as I heard him recall in the interview, like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be, all or nothing. Die hard, die strong.
Right.
When I was a kid in the gym, they used to talk about die hard, die strong, Diana ball. It was like it was what they said. I'm just saying what they said you know. But with that, yeah, really intense. That's what you're supposed to be, right? Right. But Lee Haney said, in that interview, was like, nah, that's not what you need to be, And with all the things that Lee Haney was able to accomplish in his career, 8-time Mr. Olympia, and the ability to continue to go on and do some really awesome things in business and stuff. In his life was the example of, if he were at least offering the question, hey, you don't necessarily have to be so intense, all or nothing. You might need to have a little bit of a little bit of malleability to just be able to accept that there's another way to do that. There are other ways to do that. So you can be successful without necessarily having to be willing to do the all or nothing thing. And at least what I got from hearing that interview with Lee Haney and hearing the example, that he offered with the difference between himself, a legend in the sport, and the, Rich Gaspari, who, is an awesome, legend in the sport. At least I got this idea that said, hey man, those moments in my life when I feel like I need to be all intense, all or nothing. Well, wait, maybe there are another way to do that, and if I should go and through my example of doing things, if I should discover where I believe that I did what I did because it was all or nothing and I just had to be that intense, at least for me, having experienced the interview that I heard with Lee Haney, I believe that there is an alternative, and there may be some other ways that you can still approach determining for yourself what the success looks like and how you go about attaining it. It doesn't have to necessarily be all or nothing, but maybe, I would need to do some other things to see what that looks like. So it's possible. I want to say this because there's a lot of fans and enthusiasts that'll hear the example from their favorite champion and think like, oh well, that's it. That's the holy grail. So if Chris Bumstead says, hey man, you have to give up your mental peace. Fuck mental peace in order to be successful.
Right.
Hey man, you know what? You gotta go to the Diddy party.
Come
you gotta
on.
get on that Diddy party list if you want to be successful. And it's like, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me that's the only way to be successful in this opportunity? That's the only way I can. And no, that's not the only way. It may be the only way that I may have seen it. It may be the only way that, this particular athlete of note is speaking at the time. But the truth is, there may be other ways. And if you are the athlete in question that's looking to see the miracle of what success looks like in your career, you may,
Right.
need to, think about what it means to you and try to go at it another way. There's a lot of ways to accomplish, a goal like math problems. There's a lot of different ways to arrive on a conclusion,
Yeah. We got a lightning round of questions coming up, but before
Yes,
that,
let's do it.
we have a documentary coming out on August 22nd. It's about competitive eating.
I believe we all have a purpose. I've always loved food. In some way, I was born to eat.
3, 2, 1, let's eat!
Yes.
Are you familiar with competitive eating?
Not as much as I should be. Not as much as I should be.
It's a crazy
Yeah.
world, man. It's you know, we follow one of the best competitive eaters in the world, actually, from Australia. His name is James Webb. It's a crazy it's a crazy world of, you know, eating as fast as you can, as much as you can. We're talking about pounds of food, right? Like one competition, the guy ate 22 pounds of shortcake in 8 minutes. And it is considered to be a sport. They have a MLE. It's called Major League Eating. It's a real thing, I'm telling you. Joey Chestnut is in the movie, actually. Joey Chestnut is one of the greatest of all time. He just ate 70-something hot dogs at Nathan's in Brooklyn, actually, Coney Island. Every year they do.
My old stomping ground.
There you go. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, what's the most? I know we spoke about it before. You went to IHOP, and I think you ate food for like $180. But what's the most amount of food you think you've eaten in one sitting specifically?
Too much.
In one sitting. I'm not talking about like when you're dieting, but just like what's the most you think you've eaten in one sitting?
So I've consumed a lot of calories in a single sitting. I can recall getting finished competing, and you know, part of the eating process after that was just like replenishment of soul. You know, like your spirit just said, you know what, I am so thankful that I have accomplished what I said I was going to do, and I told myself that when the opportunity came, that I could eat these things and consume these calories, I am going to consume and consume and consume some more. I was strict, real strict, to the point sometimes on your diet, you know, you can like start counting out little grains of rice. You know, it can be like that, you know, finishing your meal. And it's like, damn, I only had a cup and a half or a cup or a quarter cup, and that is it. Or you had cashews in your program, and you ain't did no real dieting until you got to that place where each one of 6 cashews were already measured out and rationed, and that is it. You know, anybody having a cashew, really having cashews, can tell you that a cashew, you can't just have one.
I know, right?
You know, but when you were on your strict protocol and it was like, I am going to be the success that I dream to be, guess what? You counted out those little 6 cashews, and you really rationed and reasoned each one of those cashews to have purpose and value, and no more than those 6 did you allow yourself to eat. But you relished the day that you would be able to just dig your hand into and pull out as many cashews as you can. In fact, whole bags of cashews, 5 pounds. I wish I get to that day when I can eat cashews indiscriminately after counting 6 cashews and no more than 6 cashews when I really wanted to go to town, and I got the opportunity to do it. Even when I was full already, I still had 5-pound bags of cashews to consume because now it was time. So just answer the question. Yeah, man, I think that, you know, I can only imagine big calorie consumption when I used to put on 40 pounds of like of weight, you know, right after the show.
Wow,
from eating it.
40 pounds.
And as I got heavier, as I became a heavier bodybuilder, capable of getting on the stage, and my contest weight, very, very heavy to begin with. You know, the more lean body mass that I was able to attain and maintain while going through the process of trying to peak on the stage, you know, as soon as you stepped off and it was like, okay, I'm going to drink this, I'm going to eat that, sugar, complex carbs, and like not even 2 meals later, you could be, you know, 25 pounds over where you were when you were standing in a day and a half of eating, or 24 hours sometimes of eating. When you finally have taken off the you know, you could be as heavy as 40 and 60 pounds, and possibly in the danger zone. Because as I'm gonna say this, I'm also gonna say to you too that there's a
All right, Kyle, let's get into this lightning round.
Let's do it.
Remember, this is a lightning round, so
Lightning round.
Try to give a lightning answer.
Aha.
All right, so we have 3 questions from loyal listeners, of course. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. Please submit more in the comments below, and hopefully Kyle would answer some of them.
Hopefully. Maybe we can get around to it. I don't know. It is lightning though.
All right, first one is from somebody named the Real for Real 97. Kai,
For real 97.
yeah, Kai, what's your take on gluten? Do you avoid foods that contain gluten? Do you think gluten-free diet has any benefits to your body fat? I guess body fat percentage, not because you have a gluten allergy, just in general. Thank you.
That's a good question. I think that as you become older, your body may stop processing things as efficiently as they may have at another time. So at some point, you may see some changes in the way your body responds to the foods that you eat, and sometimes in an effort to stay on your course for progress, you may have to ask some other questions and maybe find some alternatives with that. So gluten is just something that I haven't had to steer clear of, and I haven't been instructed. I haven't
Gotcha.
seen the need to do that yet personally.
Gotcha.
I'm
All
always
right.
I was always in love with protein though. Protein.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Yes.
Wilfred Osipeta 5479.
Wilfred Osipeta.
Hey Kai, shout out to you. I'm also a fellow Brooklynite.
Shout out to you, Brooklyn in the house. Yes.
You're an inspiration to us out here. I wanted to know if you ever incorporated calisthenics into your workout routines, and
Yes.
what were your go-tos for calisthenics?
Push-ups, and more push-ups. Anybody knows anything about my personal experience? The fitness journey, you can start right where you are. You ain't got to wait until that great getting up morning and Armageddon and everything is kind of falling apart. You ain't got to wait for all of that. You can start your journey right where you are, and something as simple as a set of push-ups, can have you off and in the running to experience the miracle of your own fitness journey. So for me, that's what it was. Go-to exercise, yes, pull-ups, push-ups, dips, upside down push-ups. You know how we used to do it in the park. Oh, you're doing push-ups in the park. We used to do push-ups. Yes, we did push-ups. We did push-ups with the diamond push-ups. We didn't talk about triceps. We were like trying to get some of these and some of those, and but yes, push-ups, and more push-up calisthenic game. I think always improves your iron training game. It just does. So shout out to anybody that is in the process of thinking that, hey man, I want to start exercising, but I just don't know how. And maybe I'm gonna try to invest in getting a trainer and maybe go to that elaborate gym somewhere when I can afford it. I gotta wait till I can afford it. Nope, you can start your journey right where you are.
Exactly.
You can do a walk outside, or even just a simple thing like some push-ups. Push-ups can go a long way. I was getting ready for the biggest competitions in my career and still subscribing to the idea of doing push-ups as a part of my morning regimen, to help me improve my bench and get my iron training right where it needed to be, in order to make improvements in the size of my arms and my bench game, to handle heavier weights, empowered by just getting up with that discipline of doing my push-ups close grip every day. Yes.
I remember working. We had a workout. Me, you, and Hassan. We had a workout a couple of years ago at the Generation Iron gym, and
That's
you
right.
were doing calisthenics. We were training
That's
arms,
right.
and you were doing triceps on the bench. You were doing it. Yeah. So you definitely do it. I can confirm. Dips. Yeah. All right, Kai. Last question from the loyal listener. Ready? This one is interesting. I don't know if you can answer that one. I'm not sure. All right. This is from Michelle One Dex.
Michelle, my belle, something monkey. Anyway, let's go.
Kai, in your documentary, you said that you have avoided PEDs for a very long time in your career. When it came time to try it, allegedly, so to speak, were you scared?
Yeah. So every athlete at the sound of my voice, listen, man, PEDs do not make the champion that is going to be imminent in your discovery of you. No way, in no shape or form can PEDs make you. And I will say this with the fullest commitment that I know of the things that I accept as being me. every fiber of my being, I want to say this as I feel myself respond inside and out. Your champion is not determined by the use of PEDs. And I'm going to say this very honestly because very sincerely, I believe your ability to tap into what are the better things that you have to offer on the road to becoming the best that you are, the best that you can be. What I would want to do is tell you, yo, man, the sky's the limit for you if you believe it. And if you're willing to do the work that it takes to achieve it. Every year that I ever thought, hey, man, you know what? I've gone really far. I got up, I started competing. I did the Mr. Connecticut Open and the teenage Mr. So-and-so. And oh, man, they loved me at the show. My body is coming up. And you know what? I believe I'm destined to be one of these stars. You think I maybe need to consider that question of PEDs? And it was like, you know what? I don't know about that stuff. I don't even know how to find it. But anyway, you know what? I'm gonna keep on doing these push-ups. I'm gonna keep on training, and I'm gonna keep on inspired. I'm gonna keep on working. And you know what? When enough work was done, hey, you know what? I was no longer doing the Mr. Basement Classic. I was no longer doing the Mr. Connecticut. I'm now doing the next level and the next level shows. And it's like, hey, you know what? Wow, I really think that this is something that I want to do with my life. I really would like to turn pro one day. You think it's even in the cards for me? You know what? You think now's maybe the time? Maybe I need to think about those PEDs. And it's like, well, you know what? I don't really know about that stuff right now, but I do know that I can get down here and do these push-ups. I can continue to actively commit to doing this work that I know how to do with my diet, my training. And you know what? We'll see what happens. And you know what? The more I did that, I found that I was able to turn pro in the drug-free organizations. I dominated in the drug-free organizations. Any show that we went into, there was a drug-free show. Didn't matter because I came in there to win. And it didn't matter what people said about me after I was there to win. In time, people begin to talk about you as if, yeah, he's already doing that stuff. He's doing it. He must be doing it because his results are crazy. And I'm saying this now with the authority of my experience. I've been the natural Mr. World. I've been the natural Mr. Universe. I've already experienced, a professional bodybuilding career long before I came to the IFBB. To fully credit that I know what it means to be an unenhanced athlete in every full expression of the word. I've been Mr. Universe. I've been Mr. World. There's a time I won every pro show that was offered in the unenhanced bodybuilding pro community.
Yeah.
Certain organizations. So I'm saying this to say that I would have never been able to explore or experience any of that if I believed that, oh no, the best that I have to offer, the best that I can be, will come if I'm doing the PEDs. No, I learned that if you want it, you can get it. You just got to be ready to do what it takes. The hard work that a lot of people don't want to focus on. They'd rather entertain the conversation. Maybe I could do that if I were doing what those other guys. No. That guy wanted it a lot more than you. He stayed on his diet. He counted out 6 cashews. 6 cashews. If it was 6 cashews, he ate 6 cashews. If you were standing there, well, I just couldn't have one. I'm addicted to ice cream. I'm addicted to this and that. And I wasn't able to stay on my diet this time. I'll get it next time. And you let yourself off the hook. That guy that walked in there with the superior condition and the extreme, he didn't let himself off the hook. And if you are willing to take yourself to that place where you are willing to do the work, believe it was in your ability to do it, and yourself before it, honestly, I believe that there's great success that is attainable for you without the PEDs.
That was lightning speed, but
lightning speed.
That was great, man. I think what you said is very important and motivational. I hope people pay attention to every word, man. And on this note, we are done, Kai. That was a great episode, man. I think we covered some good topics today.
Oh man, hey, Vlad, I appreciate this opportunity, man. This is
Thank you, brother.
We've now been in relationship for a long time, man.
Yeah, man. My brother, till next time, stay safe.
Yes. So you've been listening to your boy K with the AKA was to getting it done here on the Kai Greene Effect. Vlad Uden is the man. Generation Iron is the spot. And we just did it again with an awesome show. Please tune in next time. Check us out. And until then, stay positive. Let's keep encouraging each other. Peace.